Yeah, so haven't really done much with my machines because, well, my systems, just because all the virtual stuff that's out there, all those virtual um, labs and stuff. I just love doing those. I mean, I can do packet tracer and follow along with like one of the greats like Paul or Josh, any of those guys, CBT Nuggets or just out there on YouTube. Really informative. I mean, some of them you might not be able to understand, but there's a lot of you can get in packet tracer and you can just kind of like muddle your way through until you really understand it. It's taken me, I say, a good part of my career using packet tracer and some you know, I did a couple projects where I was changing out the 2900s. If you see here, I'll show you some of my equipment, I guess. It's a mess right now. Do it like that. You can't, my machine's updating right now, but let me see if I can do it like this. Alright, so I got a, can't really see in there, but I have a 2801 router. I got a 3560 catalyst PoE for my um, wireless unit. What is this? I call it the beginning of the Rockies. It's just the access point, but then I have my 2900 catalyst. So basically, I can do everything I want and packet tracer with the equipment I had. But you know what? This stuff's a blessing. Okay, having this stuff is a blessing. But the problem is, um, you know, plugging it in all the time. You know, I have a family, so hearing this thing growl like this all night is just not gonna work. So I had to turn it off. And now I'm in ROM or Roman, whatever you want to call it. Roman, whatever. But I purchased my new book. Got me another book here. And I'm going to go through it now. Again, because I already renamed this router once, but I turned it off and I guess it lost its configuration. I don't know how. Working through that now. I'm not sure. I think it's just because I turned it off so long, just lost its configuration. I don't think that's possible, but maybe guys out there might know. Like, yeah, dummy, don't turn it off. Tell me that. I would love it. Updating this thing right now. I'm about to do my lab every day thing, like the like Lightfoot says. Got one more next month. My CCNT expires, and I have to renew it with my CCNA. So I have to take my my other part of my CCNA. So I'm working on studying my ICND 2. That's where I'm at. And I'm stuck here in the lab with all this wires and junk. You know. I mean, look. You can just check it out. Check it out. We'll do it like this. I'll show you what I'll be looking at. Because it's just like, dude. I guess I can't switch it. Thought I could switch the view. Got it pieced together right now. I got kicked out. Of my office. I had to get my friend all my equipment for real. I mean, I got the other monitor for that, but this sucker was coming on, but I had sharing power sources. Got my stuff here. It's a mess right now. It's cool. Hey, it took a long time to even get here to have equipment to even really like physically touch. You know, it's not cheap stuff. You know, you don't just buy laptops and and just and configure them and install them and just do everything you need to do. It just doesn't happen like that. So it's taken me 3 years to even get here. So don't be discouraged. A lot of people might say the certification ain't worth nothing or whatever. Let them say what they want. Get your skills. Whatever. Look, okay, yeah. It's I think it's almost ready now. Get this out of here. Yeah, look at that. I'm back in ramen. Oh, seriously, can y'all see that? Can you see that? Oh, back in there. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna work it through here. I think I'm gonna use 2142. That's what I used last time. I might use 21 22. I think it is. Oh yeah, 0x2102. What the description says. This is the default registry setting. Your router should always be set to this value during normal operation of the device. Okay, so 0x2142, this setting is used during the password recovery process. It causes the router to boot while ignoring the contents of the NVRAM. It does not erase or modify the contents of the NVRAM. It just tells the router to ignore the contents of the NVRAM, while includes the startup config file during boot up. Once you complete the password recovery process, reset the configuration registry back to 0x2102. Now that might be the mistake I made before, because I did it like a year ago, and I named it after my boys, because I got three. Now I got three different pieces of equipment, so I say them little dudes is different. So I gave them all names. I got Josh, Alex, and James. So when it popped up with Raymond, the password recovery read only, I'm like, what? Seriously? So it's the parameters messed up, and I messed it up. So this is a good learning experience for me. Don't mean to have a long video. People don't know what I've been doing. They be like, man, you don't come out, you don't hang out no more. You're not able to hang out and party and chill and go to the parks and have barbecues and stuff. This is Memorial Days and holidays coming up. I've been doing this for like a year and a half on this side of the 1 and 2, ICND 1 and 2. The first part took me a while because I should have did it 15, 20 years ago, for real, tell the truth, when everybody was doing it. I got disenchanted. I did the Unity, started getting my Cisco stuff, but I was doing the work without certifications, and they would just keep sending me out. I did like all the U.S. banks. I got to be project manager on that under another project manager. So I was like a field project manager, I guess you would call it. Like the titles, what I found being 20 years in IT, they don't really matter. The titles don't matter. Just pay me. They're not trying to pay you anyway. They want you to just go in there and set their network up for free, or discredit you. What I was finding a lot in the 90s is, I'm the token. I was the token black. I was with a lot of white engineers, with their jokes and all that crap, they didn't really mess with me too much. They messed with some other guys that want to go drinking beer with them. But I was in my room studying exchange at the time. I was getting my MCSE. So I was still doing the same thing I'm doing now. I don't really have time to be hanging with my friends. Sometimes I feel like it's a waste of time. And I tell them, this is a waste of time for me just sitting here shooting the breeze, watching the birds land in the water or whatever you want to say, I mean, you're going to have to just do what you got to do. Everybody going to hate you. But you got to make sure you love yourself, because you got to, this stuff's like alien technology. This stuff's not easy to learn. I've been learning now, lifting myself up out my, system engineer role or system admin role for a minute to get into the network admin role, the network engineer role. I always thought I was a network engineer, and I guess, some people try to strip me of that because I didn't have my certification, so that's why I'm working on it now, while I have time to get this going, because everything's going to automation. There's a lot of programs you use. I got my Python certification, but there's tons of Python organizations out there with certification, so I'm working on another one as well. So I got one for Python, and I have to get my CCNA right now, so that's where I'm at. So I'm in between getting that automation stuff, and I'm not 20 anymore, so it's just like I don't read a book a month and pass a certification a month. I'm not really on it like that. I have small children, I have bigger children, older children. and me just sitting here, this is my off day for me to do this. Like, I could be hanging out, chilling, playing basketball, playing pool, playing cards or whatever, just hanging in the street, drinking liquor and, you know, smoking my cigars and, you know, being Big Willie and playing around. But that's just wasting money. That's wasting money. So I got my nose to the grindstone to get this stuff done. Now, my contingency plan, okay, if y'all still watching, my contingency plan is to do day trading. Now, I've always had a financial background, life insurance, health insurance, reading all those laws and stuff. That stuff's fascinating. Real estate, I've done that. I'm a businessman. I mean, my father raised me that way. He was talking to me about annuities while I was 8. So whatever, and he had 3 houses, 3 cars. So that's what I grew up to. So of course I was gonna give me 3 houses, 3 cars too. Like, and that's not the end of it, because he kind of was like this type. My aunt taught me, if you have your hand closed like this, how you gonna share, baby? And I'm like, what? Share what? She's like, open your hand. Now I can give you something, and you can give me something. You gotta share. So that sharing network, that's what helped. Especially brain shares. When you get one of them smart guys. I've met guys when I started at New Horizon to get my CCNA. I met them in the classroom, and then when I found out I didn't have to be in the classroom, I was like, oh shoot, I'm out of here, and I can still graduate. Man. So found out he had a whole network built and everything. He's like the IT guy, the security IT guy at Western Southern Life. So that's kind of what I was doing, is like the life insurance and the computer stuff, and I also worked in a restaurant too, doing the thin clients and stuff. But they wanted me to like run the restaurant while I'm trying to fix the machines that they break, because they didn't break all the time. But it's just like, yeah. Anyway, as far as like getting a job or whatever, IT has just provided me with, I won't say stable, nothing stable, okay? I've been contractor for as long as Wu-Tang been out, 25 years, baby, straight out of high school. Like, I didn't even really know that I was going to go into IT, to tell the truth. I was a mechanic. Yeah, that's why I'm in my Rover Moth today. I'm chilling, trying to get this stuff pounding in my head. Yeah, I was a mechanic. So the teacher kept telling me, like, you know what, you don't need to be in here. I'm like, why? He kept telling me that. He'd give me little things. Yeah, fix this. But like I said, we need fathers out here, okay? Be a father to your kid, even if you're not able to see her. I don't know, just stand outside the crazy baby mama house, let her call the cops on you. Make sure you don't have no warrants or something. Just see your baby, say wave to him or something. Put something in the mailbox for him. Something. Teach them something, teach them something. If it's just to tie, they tie. Even if you don't know how to tie. Teach them something that you know. Okay? But anyway, I don't want to get off on a tangent on that. But my teacher was like amazed at my auto mechanic skills. My daddy made sure I knew auto mechanics, home improvement or home restoration or what would you say? Just maintenance, maintaining. Like I surprised myself when I had to live in we call them the old homesteads. So I had to stay in one of the old homesteads and down in the hood, like my old stomping ground, and I was surprised the stuff I remembered and knew. I even got my kids involved, my boys. I gave them a screwdriver and told them give them some things to do. And but anyway, my background was that type of stuff, and so when I took auto mechanics in high school, it was kind of like it was no different. Like I knew what a crescent wrench was, box end, open end, screwdriver, standard, metric. I knew the tools, I knew the terms, I knew the stuff. But like getting in there and getting my hands dirty and being responsible for it myself, that was different. When I took out an engine and replaced an engine, that was different. Rebuilt the engine, different. Rebuilt transactions, that was different, because it's like a lot of components and stuff that you just don't cover being a backyard shade tree mechanic, as they call it. So anyway, I'm procrastinating. I don't want to do this on this router right now. But I'm going to keep telling y'all, I'm going to finish the story. So in high school, like the first job the teacher gave me, I was so militant and I was a rebel. Okay, I had dreads. You might not be able to believe that right now. I had dreads. I was all about the people and the movement. You know, I used to wear the little pendants. You know, Public Enemy was popping in. You know, just wasn't on it. You know, you couldn't tell me nothing type stuff. But anyway, the thing was, I could take instructions. I listened. You know, if I thought you was wrong, then I'm flying off the deep end. I might just jump in my car and leave. But I was one of the few kids that had a car, able to do that. I worked 2 or 3 jobs while I was in school. You know, and it seemed like I never got out of school because I always had to do summer school because I messed up somewhere and somebody made me mad. I remember one time I was in driving ed and the teacher, you know, being racist and nasty to me. I just got out of the car. You know, he was showing off for the little children in the back, and I just was like, dude, I already drive, man. I don't need you. But anyway, so I fixed the teachers' cars and stuff, and they would love me. I'd get sent to the office, but I fixed their cars, so they'd be like, oh, whatever, man. You know, why are you cutting up? And they would send me to another class, so I would change my schedule quite often. But I already knew the stuff, so you know, say just like even when I had already graduated, and I was roaming around the school for like 2 months for real. Like I didn't need to be there. I mean, the school system is different. I mean, learn some vocational skill, okay? Don't be, you know, that's cool if you know word and everything. That's cool, but like, can you turn a wrench? Like for real. If the water, you gonna run like some little a spineless rat or something. If the water leaks, you know, turn the water off, fix it. You know, it's just be a man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Get under the car, fix the brakes, do something. Don't sit there with your hands up telling you don't know how to do something. Come on, that's what we here for. But anyway, so I kept working and, you know, I rearranged the whole tool area and how the tools was rented out and they had to wipe their tools off. And I'm going to tell you, some of them Price Hill boys didn't like that too much, me telling them to wipe their tools off. But hey, that was the rules. So after I did my time doing the tools, you know, I did such a good job. The teacher promoted me, I guess, because I would play the game with them. Because the other kids would just skip, leave. They didn't care. Be smoked out, whatever. You know, they didn't care. It wasn't something that they was interested in. You know, they were probably interested in, you know, being on the block at that time. You know, but then that don't really pay off either. You know, because then they come after you for that. So you know, you got to get something that's yours so they can't take it from you. So anyway. Just working on that, and then I went to Cincinnati State. All right, so the funny thing, this will kind of change everything. So at the end of the year, they donate cars, right? So they donate cars, we forced to work on them and learn them and stuff, whatever. And then we would tear them apart. So after we tear them apart, like we tore them apart. Like you should have saw some. That's probably why they call you grease monkeys when you're working on a car, because we was all over that car tearing it apart, trying to rip the hood in half. I mean, like we was on that, chopping it. You know, we had all the tools we ever could. We ran that. I mean, I see why the tool room would get tore up every year, because at the end, when you're done, it's just you like take them tools and tear them cars apart, because you're not allowed to have them whole. Somebody might steal them, whatever. That's just some part of the rule. But all the other guys just took. They loved destroying it. I asked for some instructions, like, what, we supposed to tear this up? This don't make sense. He said, okay, well, look, the only thing that's important in that car is the computer. I looked at him and said, what? Why would we learn about all this other stuff? He said, you got to know it. But the only thing that's important in that car is the computer. Please bring it to me. I said, really? He's like, yeah, that's about 15. He said, but at the time, I thought he said 15,000. See, I was in high school. I didn't really understand much. Probably $1,500. You know, he was like about $1,449 $1,500 for the computer. He said, that's the only thing I'm concerned about. Don't destroy that. Bring that to me. I said, sure. So I brought it to him, and that was my only job. So everybody's looking at me like, why are you tearing? What are you doing? Like, why aren't you having fun tearing this up? It's like I tried. I jumped in the driver's seat trying to tear it up with my hands, and I was done. You know, I ripped the emergency brake out by hand, and then like messed the shifter up. Then it was like, what's the point? Okay, like this is dumb. So I went ahead and gave him like, and he's like, yeah, good job. Okay, you don't want to join in tearing the car? I said, nah. He's like, okay, well, we're probably gonna have to finish it tomorrow because you guys didn't have any order taking it apart. So then we were like three of the top guys. We went over and just used the power wrenches and took all the screws out, took that bad boy apart, and I went to okay. So this was funny. So I went to Wendy's. I was already working at the Tire Loop Express at Walmart as the support manager or associate manager, whatever. And cause I sold the hell out of some tires type thing. And like I went back there changing oil and stuff, and the manager come back there and she got me. She's like, "Nah, we ain't. This ain't what you gonna be doing here." And she was like, "Thanks for jumping in, but I need you up front." And I was like, "What? I'm not gonna get dirty again?" Like, dang, everybody keep trying to push me not to get dirty. Come on out here, you good salesperson, whatever. So I sold me some tires, learned me a lot there, spent some time there, and working at, I went and got another job at Wendy's in the morning, and I'll go do that in the evening, because I was supposed to start right after high school to Cincinnati State, but they had a late fall, so I was like, let me do it late, because I didn't really have everything done, and like my dad gave me the money to go to school, and I just really didn't go up there and pay it, or I don't know, I was still trying to play around and go to the Freaknik and all this kind of stuff. So I went late, and it was like perfect timing. So I went, and we were doing electrical something, and my old high school teacher came because we finally got to go out and get under the car. And I was under the car messing with the exhaust, and he walked right up behind me like I didn't even know he was there. He said, "I thought I told you to get out of this." I turned around like, "What?" And he said, "Yeah, I told you to get out of this, didn't I?" And I said, "Yes, sir." He was like, "Then why are you still up under the car? And why are you touching an exhaust?" And I said, "You know what? I'm going to go up to the office right now, switch my major. How about that?" He said, "You should run." And I'm like, I don't understand. But he always was telling me, let somebody else do your car. Let somebody else do your car. Let somebody else do your car. You go do other things. Let somebody else do your car. So he basically pushed me in the computers, just like my mom. I don't know if my mom spoke to the man. I mean, she probably did. She was kind of sneaky like that. She probably did talk to him, and that's why they came up with that. Because, I mean, my mom put a computer in my room when I was like, shoot, I say 6 if a women see. A good 8, 7 or 8. She put that in there in my room. And I'm like, what is this, Mom? So I've been on the computer that long. I told her to get the crap out of my room. She said, I'm not. So she never moved the computer out of my room. I tore it up. Took it apart, and I learned what the motherboard was, processor, all that stuff at a young age, Could write a few programs, use the word processor, interchange the parts, You got started at the basics, started the basics. I had 3 friends. Our moms were friends. The one boy went into wiring, and he still works for Sprint now, or he just now started working. He's been working for Sprint for years, and or Verizon. I don't know. He went back and forth, but the other guy, he was writing programs when he was young, like that, with like Basic, QBasic, I think it was called. And I've been avoiding writing programs for my whole life. You guys don't understand how much I've been running from being a minister in the church and writing programming. I've been running from that like a stanky egg or a skunk or whatever else you could think is stinking you're running from. I ran from it. Now I'm embracing it, and I'm trying to embrace it all at a like later age with different circumstances. And I'm telling you, if you're young right now watching this, man, learn that stuff that you're running from, whatever it is. I learned Japanese. I'm working on some Chinese. I'm speaking a little Spanish. Learn some different languages. Don't just be so one-sided, And I mean, it's hard. It seems like there's a lot to take on, but you can get all this done. World conquest is whatever you want to do. So anyway, I switched, and then so then I had another choice. So I got married young, and I had another choice because I was working in IT, but I really wasn't working in IT. Like, I was at the bank. I was working at U.S. Bank. Irony enough, I was working at U.S. Bank on the big machines, running programs in Hogan and Logan and Vector and something else that was like homemade programs or whatever, or like QBasic babies or whatever, or eunuchs. They were kind of whatever they were. Like, so I did that, and then, found out I wasn't the real tech because the guy had a smart. He put the little doctor coat on. He come work on the machines, and these things had 10.5 floppies on them. These machines were so old. So I progressed and moved upstairs working on other machines, because the machines, they have this ink called mica on the back in the day. They used to have checks, and they had to read that that ink, and it was like magnetic ink, so they called it mica. So that would read the money and everything. We take a picture of it on microfiche film, and that's how we kept track of everything. Those machines. Everything's like electronic now, and I don't think I think they still use those machines actually for checks, but everything's not checks anymore. It's like through the card system, so it's through the servers. So anyway, that's what I was fixing at the restaurants too. The little Dell machines that take all the transactions and keep the transactions and send them off, or they make a backup of them and then send them to the banks and stuff. So proof of money, or whatever you want to call it, proof of tender. I don't know. There's probably some better terminology for that. But anyway, was in the bank doing that, and online started getting hot. So people was dialing in with the little net zeros or the Junos or the LOL. So I got on the online team and went through them, and it was the funniest thing ever. I got contracted in a different department after a lot of work to get on this team. I got out of doing that and was really working with computer. Got issued my own laptop. Got keys to the kingdom, and I started reading books. And like this book is small, and it kind of reminds me of the exam crayons. This isn't even the one. That's not even the one that is the study, and that's just a refer. That's just like reference. The real one. This the real one, right, y'all? That's the one you want. 31 days. So the funny thing in this, let me finish that. Funny thing in that, see, I was reading the Big Dog too. You feel me? Yeah. There you go. Big Dog. So they changed the numbers on me too, in between, from 1 to 2. It was 101, but that show you how long I've been working on it. So anyway, I just got into IT, and just started traveling from that bank job. And from that bank job, I hate to say it like that. It sounded like it was robbing banks or something. They had 2 of them get robbed while we were there. We were in Iowa. I went to Iowa, Missouri. I lived in Vegas for a while, Reno, LA. I was gonna go to Salt Lake, but the guy was done, and I was in another town, Kansas City or something like that. I think I went back to fix something that we didn't finish, and I let the other guy go to Salt Lake, and because I just, I heard about the Mormons and stuff. I just thought that'd be weird going to Salt Lake for me. I let the white dude go. Hate to say it like that, but anyway, I just been working on certifications ever since. I got a few of them. I could count them out. It's ridiculous though, but like, just get started. Okay, I got a few of them. And I work hard at them too. Everybody's like, man, why you always reading them books? Why you reading them books? It's like, why aren't you reading any books? But anyway, this is pretty long. But just want to start because I've been thinking about doing this vlogging out my progress. I was a little embarrassed it took me so long, but you know what? Everybody's different, so you can crucify me if you want, but who cares? Your breath stink, your booty stink too. So anyway, if any employers is checking this out, this wasn't the most professional video, but this is just a little overview. All right, I want to keep it short, so much for that. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and tackle this. I got studying and stuff to do. I'll check back later. All right, y'all.